Hi. Can you sit down? We're gonna start the podcast now.
Hey.
Yeah, we got a whole podcast to start, Shasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot to say, huh? How about you? Where did you get your political beginnings?
What are your thoughts on the development of the right in America? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts, Chairman.
You don't want the war. We don't want the war, so why does it go on?
Sounds like you're talking about a wild animal.
Maybe I am.
But this stuff is a nuclear bomb.
My most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
I call upon all nations to stop these terrorist killers.
My race is drive.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Yes.
Russia. That was all bullshit. You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolutionary.
Start Palestine without freedom in the United States if there isn't in any other country. And it's the freedom to produce a socialist movement or a socialist party that doesn't exist elsewhere.
But I don't have one.
I'm trying.
Hello.
Hi. We realize that we haven't done a very good job of introducing ourselves on this podcast in previous episodes. So, my name is David,
I'm Jay.
and this is Jay, and we're the chairman.
Of Chairman Lmao.
Yeah, we're here to talk about life and politics, Hopefully down the road we can do some interviews and discuss. We can branch out a little bit.
Yeah, you were saying you wanted to just introduce us a little bit better, and I thought that was a pretty good idea since we haven't really talked much about any of that before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you have a starting point you wanted to kick us off with?
Well, I just want us both to talk about our political development, So,
Sure.
I think it's going to have to start with what it was like being a kid, how your political thoughts developed. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, we got a crazy cat.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I grew up in New York. I moved around a lot growing up, actually, but 7 years old on, I was in New York. And I guess I got to start, or I don't know. I started out caring about politics because it was hard not to. I think growing up, when I did, there was so much of a conversation around George W. Bush being like the worst, the reincarnation of Reagan, and I think even from a young age, while I was like, yeah, Bush is pretty bad, he's kind of a symptom. I saw that he was like a symptom of a bigger problem, and I felt like a lot of the people that were, kind of reducing their complaints to Bush weren't really, I don't know, seeing the whole picture of how fucked up the whole political system was. So I guess I got into like music like Green Day, so I was an angsty kid. And then I started kind of volunteering around, like in my high school and middle school. There were a bunch of smaller kind of like community centers and like local public schools that didn't really have like music programs, so I'd come in with my guitar and like sing Call Me Maybe with the kids. And I guess I don't know if that's super political, but community's political.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was the first time I started organizing with the people around me to give back to the community I was in, I guess. From there, I've, attended a bunch of protests. I went to Standing Rock. I don't know, in college, I was pretty militant on campus.
What do you mean by that? Like militant?
Well, I I guess whenever they'd have like a right-wing speaker or something, I'd be there being angry about it or whatever. And in hindsight, I guess let the idiot talk, but the school doesn't need to host them though. Like I felt like I was mad at the time because the money I was paying to be in that school was being paid to someone I disagreed with and didn't even want to speak there.
The school was paying the speaker,
Yeah, like Milo Yiannopoulos.
but it was the arrangement that the school would pay the speaker.
I'm not entirely sure they were getting paid, but even just platforming them was enough to piss me off in the moment.
Sure.
It's been a while.
Sure,
now.
I get that. Yeah.
It's been many years now.
We'll go over my woke history.
Yeah, I was a vegan.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a vegan anymore. We just had burritos. They were very good.
Yeah.
Steak
burritos.
But I don't know. I thought that was a good intersection of environmental issues and ethics, and those are two topics that really matter a lot to me. I've always been really interested in the environment, camping, hiking, biking, fishing. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, it's always been a huge part of my life. So finding I don't know. A lot of my most political effort has been centered around environmental issues, I feel like. But I think lately a lot of my political thought is less related to the environment and more about labor and how I spend my time every day, which is working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
More like society. Well, more like society than just the climate, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still matters to me.
Yeah.
And I still think vegans got a point where if more people ate less meat, we would be on a better trajectory.
Yeah. I mean,
Most meat humanity has ever eaten per capita, probably.
yeah, the meat production statistics are crazy. And the amount of food we have to grow in order to feed the livestock to have the meat for slaughter. Like that's just it's
A
astronomical.
lot of soy.
Isn't it something like 10, you have to grow 10x the amount of plant matter in order to get the same amount of protein out of like you have to have.
I mean, think about it. I've eaten more than 10 times my own weight in food in my life.
Oh yeah, easily.
You know?
Yeah.
I probably eat 10 times my own weight in food in a year.
Right. So as a matter of like efficiency, right, it would be a lot
It would be a lot.
better to just grow the plants and eat the plants than grow the plants, feed the livestock, and then eat the livestock.
Happiness and community is important, though. And
Yeah.
I like getting food with my friends. I like the food being something that I'm excited for. And I like, there being a story associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Chipotle and get the tofu sofritas, it's not exactly holding the same history as a burrito from a family-owned restaurant.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't feel the same.
No.
No.
And there really aren't. If you're like a stickler about being vegan, it's really hard to just eat at restaurants.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to be vegan for maybe 6 or 8 months, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like couldn't eat a lot of the food that my family was making. I, at the time, I found it very hard to cook for myself because of the amount that I was working, and there weren't a lot of vegan options in the area that I was working in. Stuff like that made it very hard to not just go to the same place and order the same thing constantly.
Totally.
Yeah, so I get that. And then, yeah, so, you talked about in college, having issues with the school hosting like right-wing speakers, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, it was a lot of just sort of community run stuff. I've spent a lot of time at Seventh Circle. I did volunteer there a little bit. And then, I've volunteered with Blast and Scrap and other sort of local DIY music collectives. And lately I'm doing a lot of videography for local bands, just sort of helping my community out however I can. Music's always been incredibly important to me, so
Yeah.
that's how I'm giving back right now. But this podcast is important to me because it kind of gives me a chance to talk more about political thoughts that I don't really have a place for in any of those other community building things that I do. I mean, you could talk about politics a little bit with music, but not with the sort of depth or, I guess, pointedness of this. You know, we can really have a conversation about a topic and I can be wrong and then we can figure out why I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I also kind of came up in music in my early 20s and stuff, and at some point it really like hit me like I don't feel like music is political.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all the people that never even realized Rage Against the Machine was a left-wing band that were listening to them forever, and you know, you watch those videos from the 90s of like festivals, just people miles back listening to Rage Against the Machine,
Right.
not understanding the lyrics that they're singing along with that are so blatantly obviously pointed. I don't know. It's like, it's hard to think of music as being able to fully, it starts a conversation, but it is not the whole conversation for people. You know, it'll start a political conversation. If someone listens to a song all the time and it's their favorite song, and then they realize, oh, they're talking about how we're bombing children in other countries, it's going to make them think about it at least, which is good, but it's not the same as a conversation.
No, it's not the same as a conversation. But when I say when I say music like doesn't appear like political to me, I just kind of mean that like the messages of Rage Against the Machine, for example, like Killing in the Name, I think is about comparing like the authoritarian nature of the police and those structures to the Klan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But Killing in the Name, 30 years later,
Is a karaoke song at a bar.
exactly. It's a karaoke song at a bar. It's put in action scenes to make the hero look cool, that kind of, and the meaning is like just sort of lost.
Yeah. Do you think it took all those years to abstract away from the meaning, or do you think the moment people heard it, it was simply just abstracted? People liked it because it sounded cool.
Oh, I mean, probably people liked it because it sounded cool immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music has to do both. A podcast doesn't have to do both.
No, I mean, and yeah, we like.
I mean, to some extent, we have to look presentable. I can't be Asmongold out here.
Absolutely not. You can't be Asmongold out here.
I took a shower before this. I don't know.
Both of us have showered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of the, and like, but what politics have existed since the time the song came out that could actually represent what the song means?
What do you mean, what politics?
Yeah, like, have there been any political movements that have captured, the things that these, like, progressive and liberatory songs are supposed to present?
Back in, like, 2016, all of those same artists from the 90s that were very left-wing kind of rallied behind Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the last time I've really seen all those people really speak up.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tom Morello, like the guitar player of Rage Against the Machine, he's like a super lib, you know, like he's very behind like the protests that are put forward by the Democratic Party.
Yeah, or like Jack White.
Also Jack White, yeah. I mean,
Like a lot of those sort of like more political 90s artists do still kind of like face value want to remain political looking, but they're kind of unwilling to have deeper political discussions a lot of the time. A lot of it's kind of reduced to like dump Trump kind of like jingoistic, like this is bad type stuff, which yes, this is bad.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like getting rid of Trump doesn't solve the issues that everyone was complaining about under Bush or even under Obama.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it was in 2008 or 2009 that Icky Thump came out. Something like that.
Maybe earlier, but yeah.
And one of the lyrics on that song is like, white Americans, what, nothing better to do? Why don't you kick yourself out? You're an immigrant too.
Yeah.
Who's using who? What should we do? You can't be a pimp and a prostitute too.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's actually a great critique of the way that Americans view immigrants as like labor for use.
Yeah.
And that's pretty like relevant at the time, but what followed was like the Obama presidency.
Yeah.
And deporter in chief, my guy, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's like deportations are about as bad as they've ever been right now,
yeah,
but Trump is not the reason why they've gotten this bad.
no. And the Democratic Party, Harris's campaign, she was committed to deportations as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a unilateral problem across the entire American government.
Right. But the Democrat activists tell me that, we should have the better deportations.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that you didn't see a lot of videos of these deportations under the Obama administration, but they were happening to nearly as high of a level.
Well, the numbers show that they were certainly happening,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's not covered in the media really is just a matter of like how much propaganda we're exposed to, like, or it's not how much the fact that it wasn't that it isn't being shown in the media is propaganda. What the media chooses to and not to show is state propaganda, basically.
Yeah. I mean, ICE has been expanded in a way that like has allowed for more houses to be broken into and people to be dragged out of their homes illegally.
There's no question.
Yeah.
And there's also been, because of the pushback to the expansion of powers that have been given to ICE and the Border Patrol, like the pushback has been so severe that like people have been dying in protests. Serious. But yeah, it's not a problem of Republicans. That's a mischaracterization.
I agree.
Yeah. And even
like when people say that the war and I guess I say the war in Iran, but really just Israel's involvement in the Middle East is like somehow symptomatic of Trump is insane.
it's crazy.
I think Biden was more pro-Israel than Trump.
I mean, I'm agnostic about that, but like,
Yeah.
like, I know
At least equally, neither of them would stop Israel.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of the things people complain about under Trump really do apply to Democrats, if to a lesser extent sometimes, but honestly usually to about the same extent.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring up another song. What's the Kendrick Lamar song off of Damn where he talks about like he's like talking about the Trump presidency and he's like, "Oh yeah, we lost Barack and promised to never doubt him again." You're not familiar with the line? Okay. The point I'm raising is just that like that's a great representation of like a misidentification, because like the economic problems that people are experiencing under capitalism, they might look a little bit different depending on which president is in power, but ultimately like millions are still suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think these smaller scale community efforts are maybe the best way to get involved in politics, like the things I've been doing that I've been talking about.
I mean, I think that's like the closest thing to working class politics
Yeah.
is like,
Mutual aid's really important.
yeah, mutual aid is really important. Hey, buddy. Hi.
Stink.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about your political development?
Yeah, I'll let you take the reins.
Well,
When did you start out?
I mean, I've always been interested in politics, like for as long as I can remember, honestly.
Yeah.
And that started with like my Protestant upbringing. 'Cause like, I don't know, my dad's like kind of an autodidactic person. Like before he ever,
I mean,
it means that he studies like on his own.
yeah.
And like even before he ever got his degree, like I remember him like reading books and like teaching himself how to program and do all these kinds of things. And
Wanting to learn is actually more rare than you think.
yeah, it is a pretty rare quality, I think. And it's something that I think it's a quality in myself that I attribute to my,
Yeah, you've read this shit.
a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm working through a lot of it.
That's not decoration.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, what I was just going to say is that like my dad tried to get me to think about how things in the world around me worked, you know,
Yeah.
like he would kind of like Socratic dialogue me through things, you know, teach me about like why the Constitution worked the way it did, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, he thought that the founding fathers were really cooking with those founding documents.
Hey, back then that was pretty fucking revolutionary.
Oh, I completely agree. They were cooking with those founding documents, you know?
You know, like coming from like the monarchy in England to that's a big jump.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think it's important that I like heard that stuff from my parents and from my like education in my upbringing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk more about your education?
well, yeah, I mean, I was homeschooled from like second grade until I was 15, basically. And so a lot of my curriculum was like right-wing history books. A lot of my curriculum was creationist science books.
To be fair, a lot of the history books have a slight right-wing slant to them in the U.S. anyways, so.
Yeah, well, and like,
I mean, even McGraw-Hill is,
oh yeah, well, I mean,
severely right-wing.
most public school history textbooks are completely willing to leave out like plenty of American atrocities, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like I didn't hear about like the massacre of the Indians or like what wars the United States was or wasn't choosing to involve themselves in. And I kind of always had this sense that I didn't want people to be involved in wars,
Yeah.
you know? 'Cause like, I don't remember, I'm too young to remember 9/11, but I have a pretty,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I don't remember 9/11. I was born in 98.
I was born in 96 and I do remember. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I don't remember like anything prior to 9/11 also, right? So that sort of change is not something that exists in my consciousness the way that it does in older people. I forget where I was going. Oh yeah, the war. But the war on terror, like I knew all about it. And do you know why I knew about it? It's because I listened to talk radio.
True.
I was, wow.
Hold on.
Oh.
First Blood.
Great movie, by the way. Rambo First Blood.
Is that the one where he comes back.
No, First Blood is the buddy.
You're biting my leg.
Stop biting Jay.
The fuck?
Why are you doing that?
He's hunting me.
This is good content for the video viewers. It's bad content for the audio listeners.
Damn.
That's okay.
My dots got me.
Oof. Hey. Okay, I might have to lock him away. Do you...
Okay, now leave.
Yeah, you might want to just displace him.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, when I was a kid, I listened to talk radio. I'm talking like age 9. I was listening to the local right-wing talk radio news station.
I guess I was mostly watching SNL and South Park back then.
I mean, that stuff can be great too, you know.
Oh yeah.
I still love South Park.
Back then, SNL was kind of pretty heat too.
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
Hater era.
but I listened to like Laura Ingraham in the morning, and then and she's like a Fox News host now. And I listened to Dennis Prager like religiously as a kid.
Yeah.
And he this is before PragerU ever existed.
Crazy.
Yeah. But I think that it was kind of instructive for me because I got even though I don't really share those views now, I got a really good look at like how they think about things.
Yeah, you understand those views a lot better now.
I mean, better than I think some, ostensibly left people who really don't want to make an effort to understand anybody on the right.
Yeah.
It's really easy to say that just like Republicans are crazy or whatever. But
It seems evil, right? You see kids getting dragged away on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then you see Trump get up on the screen and say, "I love inflation, actually. It's beautiful."
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, "All right, these people are fucking insane and they want me to die. I hate them."
Well, yeah, but I've come to believe that about the Democrats.
I mean, most politicians are fucking insane and don't care if you die.
Yeah. Well, I just think that the difference there is that a Republican would concede that, yeah, we're doing these deportations and it looks horrible, but and they will say but they're not here legally. And so they have to go, whereas when you try to talk to someone like a shit lib, like a real shit lib about Obama's involvement in deportations and drone strikes, it's just excuses and ignorance and denial. And it's
Doesn't seem the same as how a Republican reacts if you talk about Trump doing that.
I mean, a lot of the right-wing people I know are fuck yeah, Trump conducts drone strikes.
True.
Yeah. And
yeah, so there's less of a lying to yourself aspect of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not like the Democrats don't do the same shit, and it's not as though the Democrats don't do the same shit on a racist basis.
Yeah.
The fact that they want to appeal to people on the basis of their race is a racist approach to politics.
Yeah.
That, and
I mean, you're Mexican.
correct. Yeah. That's the other thing is I come from a Hispanic family, and a lot of them are very right wing.
Yeah.
And some of them who were more Democrat when I was a kid, who I kind of looked at funny because they were Democrats. Now they're Republicans. Pro-Trump Republicans.
Crazy.
It's total, working class people are all over the political map, and the idea that
They're often right wing.
yeah, they are often right wing. But the idea that because the working class is often right wing, they're not equipped to, build socialism or whatever is something that I'm prepared to reject.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think Democrats are any closer to building socialism than Republicans.
No, they think that the struggle for socialism can start once, we get everybody on their welfare programs. And I'm like, comrades, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe that actually can't happen. Maybe that happening isn't desirable,
Yeah.
you know?
I can kind of disagree about whether or not it's desirable to have some
little
stronger
closer.
welfare. I can disagree about whether or not it's desirable to have stronger welfare programs, but
Right.
your point still stands for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look, maybe it's good to have welfare. I'm not saying it's bad, but I am saying it's not really part of building a socialist party.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, and that's the sort of good you're looking for.
Yeah. So yeah, where did I go from there? I actually met Dennis Prager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to a live debate between when I was like 10 or 11, I think. I went to a live debate between him and David Sirota. They talked about like abortion and stuff.
I don't know who David Sirota is.
David Sirota is like a left-wing political guy. I don't really know what his like credentials are. But I did hear a podcast with him kind of recently, and it was like flashback to being 11 and watching him and Dennis Prager talking on some stage.
Yeah, it seems like you were involved in a lot of religious sort of affiliations growing up that were kind of generally right wing, like in Manitou as well.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
and again, like big thank you to the Boy Scouts for teaching me all kinds of skills and like the importance of like doing your civic duty.
Yeah, we can go camping and it's like pretty easy and we have a good time.
Right. Boy Scouts, amazing.
It's great.
Incredible. Yeah, when I was like 16, I went to Summit Ministries in Manitou Springs, which is like they bill it as like a worldview and leadership conference. It's like, I think it's like 100 hours of lectures. Cause you're just like, you go to this like hotel with like a lecture hall kind of thing. And then you sit through all kinds of different Christian apologists, lecturing on their different areas of expertise. Like I met Dr. David Noble, who wrote a fascinating piece back in the day called Communism, Hypnotism, and the Beatles.
Apologist means something different there, right?
Then what?
When you say Christian apologists, you don't mean people making excuses for Christianity.
That is what it means.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
No, it's like, because, well, and interestingly, like, that's what like Protestant Christians think that they're called to do, is to like make excuses for their faith. Yeah. Protestantism is a little different from like a lot of other sorts of religions where it's just like, no, I just am Muslim or whatever, you know, Christians, they're like, Protestant Christians are like, oh no, I got to have like a reason for believing this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. But there's a lot of political discussion in Summit, you know, and the idea there is that like, you know, something like 80% of Christians who go to college come out of college not being a Christian, and this sort of thing is supposed to like harden you against that type of thing, you know. But that didn't really.
You went to college pretty young.
Yeah, but that experience really didn't stop me from developing like progressive beliefs.
Totally.
Like when I was 16, I started working like a really terrible like construction kind of job, you know? And so I'm dealing with like real dudes who like really hate me because I can't do things.
Yeah.
And then I like learned to do those things, and I learned to work with them and like make jokes with them, and like I develop, you know, a relationship with them, and I become, you know, and I've always been like a nerd, you know? So I'm thinking about like, you know, one time I got a glimpse at the way that the boss was like bidding on jobs, and I was thinking about, wait, how many hours do I spend working on this job? How many hours do we all spend working on this job?
Yeah.
You know, like, and that kind of spiraled into, oh my gosh, like everyone I'm ever going to work for is going to like be taking off of the top of all of my production, like forever.
Yeah, I mean, more than off the top. It's like most of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know how bad it was because I didn't encounter Marx yet.
That's fair. I mean, even just like going to Chipotle, you see them wrap 300 burritos for that lunch rush and get paid $20 an hour tops.
Right. Yeah.
For each burrito is $20.
Right. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like, okay, so I am experiencing, Protestant Christian spirituality. In my early teens, I was very involved in like more charismatic sort of Christianity where there was like people praying in tongues and prophesying and that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, and I was doing that stuff.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's true. I was, people who knew me then will tell you that I was on about that,
Totally.
And then like,
I mean, yeah, you have a background in music through religion mostly.
yeah, I mean, I took piano lessons, but like I started playing with other people through church. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, just like kind of all these things were like intersecting, in my late teens, kind of got away from like the more charismatic side of Christianity into more Calvinism.
Yeah.
Which is like a very I don't know, like I still think Calvinism is like one of the more interesting kinds of Christianity because like it tries to be very like theoretically robust. But there's not a lot of like the more magical side of Christianity. That's like the prayer and the meditation and that kind of thing. Eventually, go to college for a little while. What's up? Oh, a little crooked. Okay. That's probably good. I go to college for a little while. Can't really afford it. I can't afford college in several ways. Oh my gosh.
You can't afford college in several ways.
I can't afford college in several ways. I can't afford the tuition after, a few semesters. Yeah. I can't afford to work enough and to pay and go to, well, I was living at home at the time, so I wasn't paying rent.
Sure.
But like I couldn't afford, like from a time perspective, I couldn't like go to work, sleep, go to school, do my homework.
Yeah.
Not just like not enough hours in the day for me. Like it made me crazy,
Totally.
Then sometime after I dropped out, I became a resident volunteer at a low-income housing facility here in Denver.
Yeah.
And that organization exists to like help like low-income families like get back on their feet. Like everyone in this place is somewhere between homeless and like Section 8 housing, and they're all like families.
Yeah.
And it's like totally fucked up situations, like rampant drug use, physical abuse, verbal abuse, all these kinds of things. And, like I'm kind of seeing this stuff firsthand, and, growing up, you might, in a relatively safe environment, you might think, oh, well, I'm just going to call the cops. It's like, no, if I call the cops, like everyone's going to prison.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you want to help these people, not like tear families apart.
Well, and that was kind of my role as like a resident volunteer, is like I'm living in the same building as these people. If I hear something going down, I can kind of like mediate a little bit. I can determine whether or not we do actually need to bring like the state into it.
Totally.
Whatever, But, at the time I was still very religious.
You're pretty young.
I was about 20. I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very religious, and my right-wing beliefs kind of started to fade. Like, I just realized that these people were not here because they themselves were failures, but because, like, they were never given the opportunity to succeed in a lot of cases.
Yeah. I
You
think
know?
a lot of people would see that situation and think that the answer is more social safety nets.
Yeah, but, like, we were providing, like, a social safety net.
Yeah.
Right.
And it still wasn't really fixing the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, providing the social safety net was the difference between having them homeless and not homeless, right?
Yeah. So it's a big difference.
So which is a big difference, but it does not address like these people's baseline like sociological or family or individual needs, you know?
Yeah.
The thing that probably would have helped these people most was like some high-paying jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like, because once you have all of these like social relations with other people, like you're held responsible to them, you know, like I'm responsible to go to work. I'm responsible to make a commitment to society in order to maintain my standard of living and all this other kind of stuff.
But why isn't that a capitalist thing to say?
Capitalist thing to say?
Why isn't it pro-capitalist to say that the thing that these people really needed was a high-paying job? You know, like why?
Well, because
Why isn't that I guess? Because I agree that if
why would a capitalist give someone a high-paying job?
that's fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
But a capitalist would want a high-paying job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's that sound? What's going on?
Oh, it's the chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're right, but I guess I'm just saying. It seems like that issue could just as easily be solved by housing being less out of reach or food being less out of reach.
Kind of. But I mean, you still have to produce the food and you still have to produce the house, and all of those things take societal resources and like money, you know. I mean, and really the question is like, is it better for society to get these things from, well, look,
So you're more concerned with the how do you get everyone to work enough question.
yeah, like I think like an early goal of like socialism should be full employment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
'Cause that's not something a lot of socialists are willing to talk about.
getting everybody a job.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but just think about how much sense this makes. Because, like, if you get everybody a job, instantly you reduce the socially necessary labor time.
But how do you find jobs for everyone? Have you met everyone?
Okay, but look, everyone in capitalism is either, like, fucking underworked or overworked,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you take the people who are you take the underworked people and you give them jobs in the overworked sectors.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that way you reduce how many hours.
So would cheaper education help with that though?
I don't. How would that, like? Do you mean?
I guess what are the sectors that are needed?
I mean, nurses work crazy hours. Doctors work crazy hours. You know what I mean?
But isn't that due to funding of hospitals more so than? I don't know. Is that a problem with health insurance in this country?
Are you asking me if we socialized medicine, would that fix the problem I'm talking about with doctors and nurses?
Yes.
No. Because the state still wants to pay as little as possible in order to do all of this, and hiring more people means you have to pay for more people's benefits.
No, but it costs more money to use fewer people because you're going to have to pay them overtime.
The overtime is way less than the benefits.
Okay.
That's yeah. Working someone, because working someone 60 hours a week versus employing 3 people at 20 hours a week, right? The health benefits and the taxes and everything like shakes out, so it's just cheaper to pay one person to do 60 hours.
Isn't that also an argument for why those benefits should be covered by the state? So the jobs feel more free to hire 3 people instead?
But the state is the one providing the benefits to these healthcare workers. It's a little bit circular because the healthcare workers are the ones doing the labor.
Yeah.
But the state is the one. But the state is the one paying for all of this still.
But not presently.
Not presently. Under socialized medicine, it would.
Why is that a problem? That the state would be paying for that still?
It's not a problem that people get socialized services or welfare. Mm-hmm. It's not useful for building socialism.
I just don't understand how it wouldn't be useful if a job could now be freed up to hire 3 people for the job that was previously more profitable to have one person do.
If everything that your benefits covered was instead provided to you by the Socialist Party, that would be building socialism.
Yeah. But so how is that not the free buses thing?
Because that's the state. It's not the Socialist Party.
Oh, okay. Fair.
It's the capitalist state.
So it's the intention behind it?
It's not just the intention, it's the power. Because the reason why a slave can't leave their master in the pre-modern period is not because they'll be killed. It's because they can't survive. Because their master provides them with the things that they need in order to function in their role, right?
There's slave catchers. Like
in antebellum South.
Yeah, maybe I'm
talking about pre-modern slavery.
Okay.
Different thing.
So like Europe.
Yeah, well, Europe, Rome, Greece,
serfdom.
Yeah, this kind of thing. Yeah, if you're a serf, a slave, whatever, you can't just leave or whatever because you're dependent on your master, right? Which is the feudal lord or whatever, slave master. There has to be like a movement in society in order for there to be like full slave liberation, right?
Yeah.
If you're dependent upon the state to give you health care, to give you retirement, to give you buses, you can never leave the state behind.
Yeah, but I guess a lot of people don't really care so much about leaving the state behind.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't think that politically, I don't think there's any way that I'm going to convince a bunch of people that like Marxism is true.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's realistic. Okay.
All right, wrap up the podcast.
Wrap it up.
You don't want the war?
Roll the credits.
We gave up.
No, what I mean by that is that like, given the way things are right now, in the absence of like a working class movement, like whatever, like the only thing that makes sense to people is just to like constantly appeal to Democrats to fix their problems, you know? And I'm saying, no, we got to do it. We're the workers. We got to put this shit together for ourselves. If the Democrats can't protect us from the right making abortions illegal, then the Socialist Party has to perform the damn abortions. There, you know what I mean? There is like, and look,
How is that different from like Planned Parenthood being funded by? I mean, they're not funded by the Socialist Party, but if they were funded by a Socialist Party,
I mean, there are all kinds of issues with Planned Parenthood. Like, look, any conservative will tell you, right, about like the racist and sociological misdeeds of Planned Parenthood. Okay, and yeah, they do provide, you know, necessary services to people, and they are an arm of the state, right?
yeah.
Or they're a functional part of the state, and don't confuse a good thing with something that builds socialism. Like, I mean, look, is your conception of socialism just like the government providing like people's basic needs to them?
I'm trying to figure out how to get people to make the jump from wanting their basic needs met to wanting their rights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because people want lunch, they want gas in their car, and they don't really care much about how those things happen.
Like, I'm supposed to be able to secure my material needs because I have these rights. You know, and the fact that I can't secure those material needs means that my rights have deteriorated. And maybe that's not something that's like easily identifiable or recognizable by most people, but that is the way I see it, you know?
So you think that comfort is a right? Like the pursuit of happiness entails like comfort?
I probably wouldn't say that.
Because, like, I don't know, in America, I mean, we do have a right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness, right? Like, that's a right?
Well, I mean, that's in the Declaration of Independence, that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you know? That's not actually codified into law.
Oh, okay. Declaration.
It is the Declaration.
Yeah, that is the Declaration.
Yeah, so that's not really codified into law. That's look, and this is actually instructive, okay? Because that's the founding fathers saying we are leaving your fucking state on this basis,
Yeah.
you know? But the state that they build doesn't say that you have a right to pursue happiness, right? They just try to set it up so that you can,
Yeah.
you know?
That should be a right.
Happiness?
The resources to pursue it. I don't know. You don't
Right.
think so?
Rights come from God.
You think rights come from God? Okay.
Well, they don't
You don't
come-
believe in rights.
No, but society, no. Well, look, society is God. Okay?
So you do believe in rights.
Okay. I say rights come from God, and then you say I don't believe in rights. I say God is society, and then you say I do believe in rights. Just let me explain myself.
Okay. You get what I'm saying, though, right?
You cannot. We have this conception that like your rights come from a piece of paper written down by a legislator and then voted on in Congress and then signed by the president.
Well, when you're
Fuck
in
that.
court, that's true.
Yeah, but life isn't court,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like, I have the right. My rights are given to me by the way that society works, not by the way that the state, not by what the state outlines I can and cannot do or think or be or whatever.
Okay. Sure.
Like, and I think that in order for like the liberation of the slaves in the South, for example, right, to take place, there has to be room for them to exist in society not as slaves,
Yeah.
which there was because the North was industrializing.
A lot of people ran to Chicago.
Right. And Chicago built the fucking country. Nick Fuentes will tell you all about it.
What a guy.
Who, me or Nick Fuentes?
Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
Talking about right-wing Hispanic people.
No kidding. All right. Let me just think for a moment about where I left off in my progression. I was talking about my resident volunteering. Oh, yeah. So some of like the key political shifts for me, where they happened, right? I was alone in my apartment on my phone. I was watching YouTube, came across a Steven Crowder Change My Mind video, clicked on that video, watched him argue with some college people, and I was like, wow, is this republicanism? This is so dumb. I turned it off and I was like totally done with the right in that kind of way, you know? And
You
then
weren't trying to own the libs.
no, I was not. I was like, there's no point in owning the libs if this is what it means to own the libs, right?
Yeah.
Then I remember not too long after that, like, one of the states in the South tried to pass legislation that would criminalize abortions and send women who had abortions to prison. And I was in the car and I remember reading that headline and saying, and it didn't pass. The law didn't pass. And I remember saying to my girlfriend at the time, oh, I'm glad that this didn't pass. Because I was like, I don't think that women should be criminalized for having abortions, even though I was pro-life at the time, right? I just didn't think it made sense to criminalize abortions.
Yeah, it makes sense for a Christian to not want to have an abortion, but it doesn't make sense for a Christian to tell someone who's not a Christian that they can't get an abortion.
Yeah. No, but my girlfriend at the time thought that I was insane. She's like, no, they're murderers. They need to go to prison. And I was like, whoa. Like, I kind of just had to like set that aside until and repress that memory until that relationship ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Glad
and then
you found a good one now.
yeah, I know, me too.
Sheesh.
You know, but I mean, in fairness to, you know, my ex, like, I don't think she'd ever been like thinking about what a horrible kind of police state would be necessary to enforce, like, or what kind of, not even police state, what kind of empowerment of police it would take to end the surveillance state and all these other things to like want to criminalize this thing. You know,
Totally.
that wasn't in her mind. It was in mine.
Yeah. I mean, she's just thinking more like directly judgment, like you're going to go to hell for that.
Yeah, right. But like, let God handle that. I don't know.
Yeah. If you believe in hell, it's handled already.
Right. Yeah. I'll try and wrap this. Over the next few years, you know, I spent a lot of time with people in the local music scene. I became very sympathetic to like anarchism, but sort of like a Democrat coded anarchism. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe that.
That's kind of what exists in the music scene. Everyone's an anarchist, but you can't say anything negative about a Democrat.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up. You know, I'm still in a band. I still make music. You know, there was a point in time when I was working for a small business, doing installations, and I just felt like I was being really disrespected, like contractually with this business.
Yeah.
So I left the business and I found a unionized gig. And I've been there for a few years now. And I'm a shop floor steward. And
It's been like 4 or 5 years now, right?
yeah, I've been a shop floor steward for like almost a year. But I've been in the union for like three years, I think.
Yeah.
And right around the time, maybe like some months before I became a shop floor steward, my interest in like Marxism really started to grow. I came across, I'm trying to think what sort of pushed me into this. I think I was just like really sick of like the Democrats and like the 2024 election bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, we were sending political videos back and forth like around that time a whole lot as well.
Yeah, I think the 2024 election is kind of what kicked me into like being sympathetic to Marxism, communism, that kind of thing.
I was watching a lot of Hassan Piker at the time.
Yeah. I remember watching Hassan Piker back in like 2020 or something like that. And like I caught a couple of his like theory streams and I really liked him getting into those.
Yeah.
And I wished he would have done like more of those. But that is the kind of thing that like I knew I was interested in.
Totally.
So like, a lot of YouTube browsing and like trying to figure, because like BreadTube's a mess and like shopping around. So I just started to try to read some of the early scientific socialist writings, Communist Manifesto, stuff written by Marx and Engels like themselves, Principles of Communism, the 18th Brumaire of Louis Bonaparte, stuff along those lines. And I really liked how they weren't just socialists. They were like critiques of the socialist movements that were existing like in their own time.
Yeah, it's like science.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that sense that it was critical.
Iterative.
Yeah. Iterative. Yes, very much so. And I came to see Lenin in a very similar light, I think some of the early writings of like Kautsky and people like that fit in with Marxism really well.
Before he dropped the ball.
Yeah, before Kautsky dropped the ball big time. I mean, look, all these guys...
Everyone drops the ball.
Yeah, everyone drops the ball and makes mistakes, and none of these movements were successful. Otherwise, we'd be in socialism right now.
Yeah.
So if you can't find something critical to say about your favorite socialist thinker, then you're not a very good Marxist, in my opinion. Yeah, so my political development has like skewed.
If you can't find something good to say about your least favorite political speaker, you're probably not being honest with yourself.
You're also being a bad Marxist.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think there's like I think that development really like skewed my thinking into like working class politics more like heavily, which is interesting because like the more I think about like Marxism and stuff, the more useless I feel as like a member of my union and like as like a shop floor steward. Like I just feel like I'm totally consumed by this Democrat NGO machine kind of thing. But that can be, something for another episode perhaps.
But I mean, yeah, the union isn't really a fully Democrat run either though. It's pretty much Republican and Democrat 50-50 at this point, right?
Well, let's look at the big ones, right? So the United Auto Workers, Sean Fain, very Democrat guy, very Democrat-ish movement. Sean O'Brien of the Teamsters, more middle of the road kind of guy. Like he will go on stage with Trump. The Teamsters did not endorse a political candidate this last time around.
Yeah, he got flack for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree with that, but
whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. Not to you, but like what the flack. Like,
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of Republicans working these union jobs, man. I don't know what to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, if you're the president of one of the more powerful unions in the world, like, you're going to have to talk to the president sometimes.
Yeah, and the Democrats didn't have him. If the Democrats had him at the DNC, then he would have gone.
Yeah, I don't know if Sean O'Brien turned down going to the DNC, but he did go to the RNC and not the DNC in 2024.
DNC was a mess, though.
Okay, yeah, Marxism and shit. Yeah, so now I'm in kind of a place where I'm like, yeah, I think Marxism might be really important for people who are in like the socialist intelligentsia thinking about building socialism, but like there are definitely some gaps, right? Like, yeah. I think that most leftists are like almost allergic to theory. You know, like they look at this stuff and they're like, yeah, that's dead straight white men shit. I don't want any of that, you know. And it is dead straight white men shit, but you do want some of this. Let me tell you. At the very least, you know, we should be looking at the way that the struggle for socialism was conducted in the past, you know, and we're just not doing that. You know, all we're doing is we're saying if you show up to protest, we can better beg things off of these capitalist politicians. And I'm saying, fuck that noise. Like,
That's not worth getting pepper sprayed over.
it's not worth dying over.
Yeah.
It's not worth dying over. Yeah. All right, I think we should wrap up the pod. What do you think?
Nice talking to y'all.
Nice talking.
Yeah, I hope you feel like you know us a little bit better now. That was a little bit of an introduction episode.
Yeah.
These last few episodes that we've filmed, we kind of just got right into it. So it was nice to get a chance to talk to you guys a little bit about who we are, why we're doing this.
Yeah, hopefully you saw the more personal side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask us some questions. We'll check in on the comments as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have an RSS feed up by the time this episode's out. So if you're an audio only listener, that'll be for you.
Take care, y'all.
Thanks,
Thank
all.
you.
You don't want the war. We don't want the war, so why does it go on?
Sounds like you're talking about a wild animal.
Maybe I am. But this stuff is a nuclear bomb. My most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I call upon all nations to stop these terrorist killers. My race is drive.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes. Russia. That was all bullshit. You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolutionary.
It's still passed down. There's freedom in the United States that there isn't in any other country. And it's the freedom to produce a socialist movement or a socialist party that doesn't exist elsewhere.
I'm not a rapper.
I'm trying.